everyone, and welcome to another episode of Sehat on Voice of Toronto TV. I'm your host, Hina. Every week, I talk about a health topic and introduce you to a healthcare professional on my show. Health is defined in conventional medicine as usually absence of disease. So if you have any signs or symptoms and you're not feeling well, usually you end up going to your physician or your family doctor, and they diagnose you with a disease and then prescribe you medication to manage your symptoms. The problem with this view of health is that it just focuses on physical aspects of our health. But lots of research and evidence shows that our health is largely impacted and influenced by lots of psychological, social, and societal factors, and our wellness is determined by all these complex factors and not just physical factors. So today on my show, I have Natasha Rooch, who's an NLP coach and a Reiki master. We're going to be talking to her about her journey and what got her to become this professional and why she's practicing. She's going to be giving us expert advice on how you can better take care of your health and your well-being. Welcome, Natasha, to the show.
Thank you, and I'm very thankful to be on the show.
I'm very happy and glad to have you here, and I'm very genuinely interested in learning about this because, I haven't read a whole lot about it. Now, tell me a little, before we get started on talking about Reiki and other forms of alternative treatments that you do, tell us a bit about yourself. Tell us about your journey. What sparked your interest in pursuing alternative therapies?
It's very interesting because I always say that the journey of the healer starts with the self. For me, it was my own experiences struggling through, managing healthcare. I did have some family members that got, really sick at one point, where they were actually given a lot of antibiotics by the doctors. And at one point, there was a stage where we were not given any hope that this is going to get better. We were told that they're going to be hospitalized, and it's just going to take a long time, while I saw that family member getting weaker and weaker. So that's when I started looking into, is there any other alternative therapy? Is there any other way that we can restore them back to their health? And that's where my journey started on this path. I found by chance one of my teachers who helped me to give them a remedy, help them through, balancing their lifestyle. Until within a week, actually, we followed those methods and they were back to really good health. And even the doctors were shocked that, what did you do that this infection that we were dealing with is entirely gone, because we thought that this is going to take, months of being in the hospital.
Right. Tell us a little bit more about you. You mentioned your teacher. So there's someone who taught you all this. Where did you get that training or education, and who's your teacher?
So initially I went as a patient. One of my teachers, Dr. Jasyal, he works in the spiritual and alternative therapy field. He's been amazing in guiding me towards, within everything I needed to learn in order to reach this point. Other than that, for Reiki, I also met another teacher. I was actually she's a counselor.
Okay.
And she helped me also to learn about Reiki. So I had two teachers kind of appear in my life when I just needed it. And at the same time, I started taking courses and getting certified in Reiki itself.
And and just for my own knowledge, but where can a person go to get certified in alternative therapies like Reiki?
It would depend on what they're looking for, right? So for Reiki, there are different schools. Reiki, actually, the way to learn it, it does require attunement, where you need to work directly with a teacher who kind of transfers that energy to you, and then you start practicing it. It starts under their guidelines, and then you move on to practicing it on your own. But if you look online, there's like a number of different schools throughout Toronto that do teach it officially as well.
Okay, wow, that's really interesting to know. So, when, like I mentioned in my introduction, when people think of health, and usually when they're not feeling well, a lot of people believe in conventional medicine. They visit the doctor and take medication. How do you find the people you treat or your clients? What is their trust level like in alternative therapies? Are they skeptical of what you do? And how do you get around? How do you get around in building that trust relationship with them?
Sometimes people are skeptical. The reason being, the way I see conventional medicine is that when you go to the doctor is there to treat your symptoms.
Right.
And often people are expecting kind of a miracle cure, like, hey, give me a pill that's going to take away my symptom and clear me from this disease entirely. But the place where a lot of doctors struggle as well, and that's where we come in with alternative therapy, is that we need to make changes to our lifestyle to actually reach a healthier state. The way I would explain it to a client that's coming the first time is that your health is not just your physical self. It's not just some symptoms. Your health, for example, if you have a disease, it's caused by something that happened, right?
Right.
So one of the approach we learned from Dianetics is that a disease is caused by conditions that existed to first create the disease, the existence of the disease.
Okay.
Then there's the conditions that cause it to stay, and then there's the conditions that cause it to become chronic.
Right, so there's always all these factors that are playing a role. It's not just a disease on its own, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And sometimes it's just that experience, to go through that, which kind of shows us that no, there's something I need to work on, right? That's usually we work by finding the root cause of the issue. Now, let me give you an example, Hina, that for example, just imagine that you're really scared of something, right? But how do you normally react? Like, how does your body react?
Yeah, so when I'm really scared of something, I think my body just really tightens up. There's a lot of stress, there's a lot of anxiety, and sometimes, to be honest, because of all the daily chores that we need to take care of, we're not even really able to express it.
Yeah.
So it kind of just builds up inside and continues to build up over time.
Exactly. And that's like, I observed that with small kids especially, and animals, like in all humans. When we suddenly get scared of something, like for example, you're watching a horror movie, you get scared, your muscles are going to tighten up, and the stress is going to go towards your lower abdomen.
Okay.
That creates a lot of problems. If it's repeated over time, then you can start having chronic issues with your kidneys, with your gallbladder.
Right, and your abdominal issues.
And another example, how does your body react when you're angry?
So it's kind of like a really big loss of control, right? I mean, I'm definitely not myself when I'm angry. I think most people would tell you that. Right. My husband would definitely tell you that. But I mean, it's kind of like that. That feeling, you're very emotionally charged.
You feel like there's some kind of energy that's stuck. Like sometimes I address my daughter, like when she's angry, I would say, "Hey, do you feel like a tightness or something stuck in your tummy?"
Yeah,
and she's like, "Yeah," because you're holding anger. It tightens your muscles. It creates issues around, for example, your liver and your upper abdominal area.
Right.
So the way we hold on to stressors. So you know how anger is normally accompanied by guilt as well?
Yes.
That's going to affect.
So lots of emotions playing together.
And over time, as we age, it's those things that are happening repeatedly damaging our body, but our mind is also repeating the same patterns to create that energy, right? So you see that people, as they're aging, they're starting to find more and more chronic health issues, right?
Right.
plus it's the diet, it's the lifestyle, do you
And all the other
exercise?
factors.
All of those things have an impact on your overall health.
Right. So, I mean, just when we're talking about factors, part of when you were introducing yourself to me, part of the work that you do is around marriage counseling. So you help couples kind of navigate through the issues and the problems. So that just kind of brings me to the point that our social life is extremely important for our well-being and our health as well. The kind of relationships we have with people around us, especially our spouses, because we're so close to them, that can actually play a very big role in our overall health.
Exactly.
How do you get people to, or get couples to kind of confide in you with their personal life or their problems?
I normally choose like an approach where I give them the space to make the decision. Normally I would start with a free session so that I'm able to address some of the problems that they might be encountering. Now, over time in my own journey, this is what I found, that a lot of those health issues that I was seeing repeating in the clients, they were stemming from their relationships, because they struggle in their relationship. Now they're holding on to different things,
different emotions and feelings, and that's kind of going into other aspects of their life.
Yeah. I've done a lot of blogging on different topics where relationships do become an issue, and I talk about different strategies that you can you can use to deal with those things, right? When you give a person the right tools to be able to do something, they're already equipped. They will know how to handle it the next time.
Right.
So I try to be more of an advisor to them. I'm able to give them the tools, but it's them that are making the decisions. A lot of the time people struggle to go towards counselors or coaches because they don't want somebody telling them to do this or to do that.
Right.
Like, to stay in the relationship, to leave the relationship.
Right.
That's something different for every individual.
And kind of promoting that self-efficacy instead of reliance, right? So lots of times we can go see a healthcare professional, but we have to keep going to them again and again and again, because the issue, every time the issue repeats, you have to go see someone. But kind of promoting that self-efficacy, or allowing people, or giving them the tools so that they can use it when they need it. That's a very brilliant approach. I mean, I'm totally an advocate for that, for self-efficacy. Now, I know we mentioned a few times during the interview about Reiki therapy. Please tell us about what it is, how does it help people, what type of clients does it work on? Just tell us more about that.
Okay, for sure. So Reiki is an approach that we healers use to connect to what we call, there's a healing energy that's spread throughout the universe.
Okay.
And we're just utilizing it to help heal our clients. The way I understood it, Reiki itself, if you divide up the words, Rei in Japanese is referring to God, right? The ultimate power or the source of everything. And Ki, it's like the life force that's spread throughout the universe. For me, in Arabic, we say that God is Rahman and Rahim. He has spread his mercy throughout the universe. That's how I view it. Sometimes when I'm addressing that to clients as well, we do a meditation where I ask them to actually ponder over all this mercy that's spread in the universe, like it's covering the orbiting planets to the tiny ant walking on the leaf in the dark night, right? Everything is given mercy, everything is given food, everything's given what it needs to survive. So why not us, right? So with Reiki, we use a spiritual approach to where we kind of absorb that energy, and we use our hands to actually send that energy to clients, which helps to restore their life force. Okay. At the same time, we're working on the different subconscious beliefs that they're holding, to clear those and to clear the negativity and the negative energies from their body so that their aura is healed, and then they can start the journey towards healing.
That's a really interesting topic, and it's obviously very comprehensive and complex. It can never be defined in such a small time or in such small sentences or words. And we have to go take a small break, but I want to talk to you more about it when we come back after the break, Natasha.
For sure.
We'll be right back after this little break.
I want to be a data scientist. That's something I'm passionate about. I want to bring a change in the medical aspects. Data scientists do collection of the data, then they analyze the data, and then they transform the data into meaningful conclusions. Algoma is unique because we get a chance to do one-on-one interaction with professor, and that's the best part.
The need of computer science graduate is huge. Nowadays, the industry demand is changing every day, and Algoma is adaptable. Algoma is changing its course content, changing the degree programs, and giving several certificate courses that the industry is actually looking for.
Personalized learning is the hallmark of Algoma's university experience. Algoma is offering the accelerated second degree. It's the only one in province.
Algoma not only just give us an in-campus experience and skill set, but they also help us develop how to present ourselves in real world. Where do I see myself in 5 to 10 years? I see myself working at some multinational corporation as a data scientist. This is the first step towards my journey.
Looking for a dream house?
Always have your own doctor and a realtor. There is no shortcut to experience and knowledge. You want to buy, sell, or invest? Residential or commercial? Experience the difference with us for Tahir, your full-time realtor for life.
For all your tax and accounting consulting needs, call Waris Shah, your own tax and accounting consultant. Based in Mississauga, call now 905-232-7829.
Hi, my name is Sandeep Singh. I'm the owner of Heritage India Restaurant. It's a fine dining restaurant with tradition and culture. अगर आप पुरानी दिल्ली की ट्रेडिशन, कल्चर और माहौल को एंजॉय करना चाहते हैं खानों के साथ, तो प्लीज़ आएँ हेरिटेज इंडिया 485 मेन स्ट्रीट, ब्रैम्पटन। मैं चाहता हूँ कि आप अपनी फैमिली और दोस्तों के साथ यहाँ आएँ, आकर के हमारे खाने का लुत्फ़ उठाएं। और अगर आपके यहाँ किसी तरीके की कोई पार्टी है, बर्थडे पार्टी, किटी पार्टी, बेबी शॉवर, तो हमारे यहाँ डिफरेंट हॉल्स भी हैं जिनका आप पूरा फ़ायदा उठा सकते हैं।
Hello everyone, my name is Nasser Shah. I specialize in any mortgages, loans and franchise business. For any such need, please contact me.
Are you a real estate agent who's stuck in the past? Tired of the archaic way of finding new clients? We're here to show you there is a better way. Got leads? Search Realty uses today's technology to generate and manage new clients for you. The only brokerage in the world to be a certified Google partner. A leader in online marketing, in-house lead generation, and agent support. Join our team today. Visit searchrealtycareers.com to learn more.
Hi, this is Sharif Sabawi, your MPP of Mississauga Inlands. It is my honor to represent the people of Mississauga Inlands. Since taking the office, I have been doing my best to help individuals, families, and businesses right here in Mississauga Inlands. During the pandemic, the government of Ontario has worked very hard to save lives, keep Ontarians healthy, and sustain small businesses that were experiencing hardship due to the lockdown. Then, now, and always, I promise to be the voice of my riding. If you have any problem, issue, concern, or question, please contact my office anytime. I will be more than happy to meet with you and discuss any concerns you might have. Even if we can't solve your problem, we will tell you where to go to get some help. Your MPP, Sharif Sabawi.
Muslim Welfare Canada has made a concerted effort to lead the fight against child labor, poverty, and illiteracy in third world countries through the generous support of our donors. Both girls and boys receive free, good quality education. Help educate a needy child for just $1 a day or $30 per month. Donate generously. Call 1-866-754-3111 or visit mwcanada.org.
Welcome back, everyone. Just before we went on to our break, we were talking to Natasha Rooch about Reiki therapy. Natasha, I want to continue to talk about it in terms of some of the clients or types of clients you've seen in the past. What types of clients have you seen in the past? Can you give us some examples?
Yeah, for sure. So I've worked in the past with all kinds of different age groups, from seniors. So I worked with some of my senior clients. They were suffering from a lot of health issues as well as like mental health. I remember that one of them was really disabled, and I used the Reiki therapy along with some lifestyle changes, like for example going out on walks every morning, just being around nature. Over time, like I worked almost 1 month with her, and she was completely feeling energetic. She was able to move around. Before that, she couldn't walk. She was on wheelchair, but after that,
she was able to get up and walk around.
Yeah,
after?
Exactly.
Okay.
Another of my clients was suffering with mental health issues, a lot of repeated depression, and we did Reiki and helped them out, and they felt really positive, energetic after that. I've also worked with, for example, youth, and youth is a very sensitive group of people,
Yes,
because they're the future of our community, and they have a lot to deal with right now with how technology is changing, how the world is changing around them. So I've had several youth actually that were struggling with mental health and sometimes even addiction problems, right?
And those have just increased because of the pandemic, right? Like the rates of mental health issues among youngsters have gone up significantly.
Exactly, and sometimes I feel that it's caused by a lot of the expectations and standards we put on them, where they aren't able to communicate themselves or express themselves entirely. So when you're holding in so much of your energy and so much of the questions you're having, then that ends up resulting in like mental health. But they haven't been able to find all the help they need, because oftentimes you see them struggling and the next thing you know they're on medication for it.
Right, because that's what our conventional system would do, right? Like
exactly.
if you were to go to your family doctor and talk about mental health, most likely you would be linked or referred to a psychiatrist and then further prescribed medication to deal with mental health.
I'm not saying not to take the medication, but a lot of them end up becoming just dependent on them, because again it goes back to the theory that we're looking for a miracle cure for everything.
Right.
We're not giving them that's where the alternative therapists and healers would come in, to help them make the lifestyle changes, to help them get the counseling and guidance, like help support that they need to move through that time, or to change some of the factors that they're experiencing to get their health back.
Right. Okay. Now, earlier on when you were describing Reiki to us, and you described it from an Islamic perspective or point of view, do you see how do you kind of translate that to clients who are not Muslims, or maybe need to see it in a different way?
Actually, what I believe is that it's human. So I focus on human nature itself.
Right.
But I believe that our health is not just our body; it's our body, mind, and soul. Sometimes a person might not believe in God or might not believe in a specific religion, but they're still searching for some kind of source or some kind of help to find a solution to their problem. So we use the word source, like, or we give them, we connect them to the world around them, right? Nature itself plays a big role in our healing.
Right.
So sometimes it's just connecting their soul, and then they find peace in that, so they would continue doing it. A lot of actually what I'm finding now is, especially in the Western world, a lot of people are moving towards spirituality. The reason being is, with technology, with the way we're so focused on our jobs and the corporate world, we need that kind of break.
Yeah, for sure. And even in terms of healthcare recovery, or I mean, we've seen during the pandemic that some of the ways we've practiced healthcare just doesn't work, or just doesn't work on its own. We need to kind of think back to traditional medicine or other alternative medicine approaches and try to integrate them with the conventional. So thank you so much for sharing that. Now, you brought up mental health, especially amongst youth, but when we look at mental health, specifically in the South Asian community and in many cultures, there is some stigma associated with mental health, which can prevent people, or the beliefs can prevent people from seeking help around mental health. Have you encountered that in your practice?
Yes, I have, a lot. Actually, there's a lot of stigma that, when you're suffering from mental health, you're either crazy, or you're just depressed, or being thankless, or selfish. A lot of the youth, especially when they're encountering these problems, they go through this, where people are calling them crazy, where people are just giving them, hey, you have to take your medication, otherwise you'll never get better. Why don't you pray and be positive? Things like this. And it doesn't help with the situation. It actually prevents our youth from going out and seeking the help they need. Or sometimes it could be, for example, one of the youth that I was working with, they had a very toxic environment that they were living in, where their parents were always fighting each other. There's a lot of conflict happening there. They were being judged for every action they took.
Right.
So a person like that is absorbing all of that conflict, and they actually became suicidal at one point, and then that's when their family came and approached me to help them out, right? So at that point, they didn't need just one medication, or they didn't need just somebody telling them what to do. They actually needed to change their, to get a break from what they were struggling with, to work on their self, to give their own self a little bit healing, and remove all of those. So a lot of the time we're taking in messages,
right?
For that youth, and also for some of the children I've worked with. what happened is their parents are saying something to each other, and the young one is absorbing that as a message for themselves. Like, for example, a parent says to the other parents, "I hate you, you're the worst."
Right.
The kid is not listening to it like, hey, this parent is saying it to the other. The brain absorbs it like, this person is telling me that I hate you, like me. So then they start saying it to themselves, I hate me.
Right.
And now who's going to clear that program if it's repeated to them over time and they sincerely believe that, right? So this is where these kind of therapies really come into to play,
right,
to help those youth out.
So you have a practice called Natural Answers, where you through which you see your clients. Can you tell us more about why did you start Natural Answers? What's your vision with your company?
The word explains itself in that sense. The reason I founded this company is to bring us back to our natural self. When we look at how we've changed ourselves over time, how we've strayed away from what we were as humans, that's why we find that a lot of problems are arising. Like, a lot of us don't recognize what we are. Like, we're not just here to just work 9 to 5 and live every day like a machine. We're so much more than that. So just bringing us back to our ideal self. I do have like a motto, like stability of mountains, flow of the rivers, guidance of the stars. This is what Natural Answers is about. It's about helping you make yourself into a stronger being, spiritually, physically, mentally, so that you can now live a new life with purpose, with intention, and so you're more aware of everything you're doing and everything around you.
Thank you for sharing that, Natasha. That's actually very, even just those words are so soothing to hear, and such a different perspective on healthcare. So I'm actually really inspired, and I'm really curious about learning more. Now, if there's anybody from our audience who would like to approach you or get in touch with you to seek help, how can they do that?
So we do have, so the first way to contact anyone would be their phone number. My phone number, I think it is showing on the screen. Is it?
Yeah. So
okay.
Do you want to maybe you can just say it out loud?
289-923-3401. We also have a Facebook page, or you can just email me directly at naturalanswerscanada@gmail.com. I usually start with like a free session so we can have an introduction with the clients, what their needs are, because every client has a different need, and then we develop a program according to that person's specific needs.
I think that's a really great way, even just to build trust with a person, or even to educate them about what is this alternative therapy that you're using.
For sure.
Yeah. So today's show, I try to relay this message to the audience that when we're thinking of health in a very conventional way, we often think of it as a particular disease or take medication to treat the symptoms, but it's not able to make us feel well as a whole. There's lots of alternative therapies that are starting to work, there's lots of interest in it now, and they are being available in the community. So Natasha Rooch is on the show today. Her practice is called Natural Answers, and she's a Reiki master and an NLP coach. So you're welcome to get in touch with her if you are interested in her services. Is there a message from that perspective, when health defined as holistic, or looking at a person as a whole, is there a message that you would like to give our audience?
Yeah. So how a lot of our health issues today are stemming from the emotional baggage that we're carrying, and I found that for the greater part, the biggest issue that we've been facing as a community is resentment. So resentment has a really powerful way of damaging your body, your health. It could be the conditions that you're in, or it could be you're thinking about those conditions repeatedly. But the best way to move forward in that kind of situation, with whatever trouble you're facing, is to stay calm and stay positive. Like, think positive for yourself. Don't keep, if you think something bad is going to happen and you keep repeating that to yourself, it's going to happen. Sometimes we just need to release it, even if it means like crying it out or just going away from the place we're in. Just whenever there's a tough situation, stay calm in that time. Don't take any decisions, and take the decision after you calm yourself down. You'll find it so much easier to solve your problems and to move through them when you're not acting in a reactive state.
That's actually really, really good advice, and I think all of us can use it. Even I can definitely use it. I just wanted to let our audience know the way you practice. Are you mainly seeing people in person, or do you provide any virtual services, online services?
So far, the services are more virtual, especially since the pandemic came. I did used to have an office before, but a lot of the customers prefer to have the therapy done virtually.
Right.
Now, if a client really needs it, like I've had clients that aren't able to come to talk online, or they need some physical assistance. So that at that time we would set up a meeting.
Right.
But mostly done virtually. In the future, I do hope that I am able to develop like a healing center where people can come, they can take a break from their regular life and
then meet you in person.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great. Thank you so much, Natasha, for being on the show today. I learned so much from you, lots of new concepts. And I'm very curious about it, genuinely curious about it, so maybe we can talk after the show or keep in touch. And I just want to let my audience know that please, if you want services from Natasha Rooch, her contact information was provided during the show. You can always reach out to us at Voice of Toronto TV, or you can reach out to me, Hina Javed, at 416-731-1563, and I would be happy to answer your questions or connect you with Natasha. Thank you so much for watching our show tonight. Next week, I'll be here again with another healthcare practitioner, and we'll talk about another interesting health topic. Until then, have a great night.